In the olden days, when mornings smelled of wood smoke and palm oil, and women wrapped their bodies in thick, colorful wrappers tied firmly at the waist, there lived two young women in a quiet village near the river. We were known everywhere as the inseparable ones. Wherever I went, she followed. Wherever she sat, I sat beside her. People said we looked like sisters, even though we were not born from the same womb. We fetched water together, pounded yam side by side, and bathed in the river under the same moonlight. Our laughter filled the village paths, and elders smiled whenever they saw us coming. She was my best friend, my secret keeper, the one who knew my fears and dreams. In those days, I never imagined a life where she would not stand beside me. She was beautiful in a quiet way, with soft eyes and smooth dark skin that glowed under the sun. I was beautiful too, bold in my steps, my wrapper always tied higher, my head held proud. We shared everything, from beads to stories of the men who passed by our huts, pretending not to stare. At night, we whispered about marriage, about the kind of homes we wanted, about love that would never betray. I trusted her with my whole heart. In that time, friendship was sacred, sealed without words, stronger than blood. Or so I believed. Now, as this story begins, take a moment to like and subscribe if you enjoy deep village tales like this, and drop a comment telling us where you are watching from. London, California, Jamaica, Trinidad, New York, Florida, Atlanta, Nigeria, or South Africa. We truly want to know, and we always pin the very first comment as a special appreciation. But life in the olden days was shaped by traditions, by silence, and by choices made without warning. What I did not know then was that the same hands that once held mine in friendship would soon reach for what was never meant to be shared. My best friend was about to become something else entirely, and the bond we thought unbreakable was already beginning to crack. The day everything began to shift was the day the village drums spoke differently. It was during the dry season, when the earth cracked under bare feet and women tied their wrappers tighter to keep away the dust. A wealthy man from a neighboring clan arrived with his people, his presence announced by loud drums and heavy footsteps. He was not young, but his barns were full and his name carried weight among elders. Women pretended not to look, but every eye followed him. I stood beside my friend as usual, our shoulders touching, our wrappers matching in deep earth colors. I laughed and whispered jokes into her ear, unaware that her eyes were no longer listening to my voice. They were fixed on him, shining in a way I had never seen before. Later that evening, as the moon rose and the village quieted, she became distant. She answered my questions with short words and avoided my gaze. When I asked her what troubled her heart, she smiled and said nothing was wrong. But I felt it, that strange, cold space growing between us. In the olden days, women shared everything, especially matters of their heart. Yet that night, she slept turned away from me on the mat we had shared since girlhood. I told myself I was imagining things. After all, she was my best friend. She would never hide something important from me. Days passed, and whispers began to move faster than the wind. I heard my name spoken softly, followed by hers, then followed by silence. Elders' wives watched me with curious eyes. The man's name floated through conversations like smoke. One evening, as we returned from the river with wet wrappers clinging to our legs, I asked her again if there was something she needed to tell me. She stopped walking. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her wrapper. She looked at me, really looked at me, and for a moment I saw guilt flash across her face. But then it disappeared, replaced by a calm that frightened me. That was the moment I realized that something precious was slipping away. I did not yet know what she had done or what she planned to do. I only knew that the friendship I trusted more than anything was standing at the edge of a deep pit, and soon one of us would fall in. The truth revealed itself on a market day when the village was full of noise, smells, and color. Women walked proudly in their wrappers, beads clicking softly around their ankles. I was arranging dried pepper for sale when I heard the sound of familiar laughter behind me. It was her laughter, light and carefree, but it was not meant for me. When I turned, my heart stopped. She stood beside the wealthy man, her wrapper tied in a new style, her head covered with a cloth I had never seen before. She looked like a bride already. The man's hand rested confidently at her back, as though it had always belonged there. In that moment, the world tilted. My ears rang and the market noise faded. She saw me then. Our eyes met, and instead of shame, she gave me a small smile. That smile cut deeper than any insult. Later that day, she came to my hut as if nothing had changed. She sat on my mat, ate my food, and finally spoke the words that broke me. She said the elders had agreed. She said the man wanted her. She said it was fate. Only then did I learn that he was the same man who had once spoken to my family, the man my parents had quietly hoped would ask for my hand. I asked her how long she had known. She looked away and said it happened suddenly. But lies are weak when truth stands before them. I remembered the nights she turned away, the silence, the secret looks. She had known for a long time. She had watched hope grow in my heart and still chose herself. In the olden days, betrayal did not always come with anger. Sometimes it came wrapped in soft words and gentle smiles. After she left, I cried until my chest hurt. Not because I lost a man, but because I lost a sister of the heart. She was my best friend until she became my rival, my shadow, my reminder that trust can be broken quietly. The village moved on, but I remained stuck in that moment, wondering how love could turn friends into enemies without warning. From that day, I learned that some wounds do not bleed, yet they never truly heal. The wedding came faster than I expected. Drums beat day and night, and women danced in bright wrappers, their voices rising in praise songs. I stayed indoors, my wrapper plain, my heart heavy. Tradition demanded I attend, but my spirit was not strong enough. When I finally stepped out, I saw her seated proudly beside him, adorned in coral beads, her skin glowing with palm oil and celebration. She looked at peace, yet when our eyes met across the crowd, something shifted. Her smile faded just for a moment. In that brief silence, I knew she had not won the victory she imagined. Marriage changed her. The laughter became rare, the visits stopped. People whispered again, this time with pity. The wealthy man was not gentle. His house was full, but his heart was not. While her wrappers grew finer, her eyes grew tired. Sometimes, as I passed their compound, I heard raised voices, then silence. In the olden days, a married woman endured in silence. Pride would not allow her to return to friendship or to apologize. And I, wounded as I was, built my own walls. Seasons passed. I learned to live without her. I focused on my work, on caring for my aging parents. Suitors came, modest men with honest hands. I chose one who valued peace over wealth. My life became simple, but my nights were calm. One evening, she came to my hut unannounced. Her wrapper was faded, her shoulders bent. She knelt before me, tears dropping onto the earth floor. She said betrayal had brought her comfort, but not joy. She said losing my friendship was the greatest price she paid. I listened in silence. Forgiveness is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, slow, and painful. I helped her up, gave her water, and told her I no longer carried hate. But I also told her that what was broken could not return to its former shape. We were no longer one, but we were no longer enemies. In that moment, I understood that destiny does not always reward clever choices. Sometimes it simply teaches hard lessons through loss. Years later, the village changed, but the memory of our story remained. Children who never knew our younger days now listened as elders spoke of two women who were once closer than twins. I became known as a woman of strength, one who chose peace over bitterness. My home was filled with laughter, not because it was perfect, but because it was honest. She lived not far away, quieter than before, carrying lessons written deeply into her eyes. We greeted each other with respect, but the closeness we once shared never returned. Some bonds, once broken, can only exist as memories. As this story comes to an end, remember to like and subscribe if stories from the olden days touch your heart. Also, drop a comment telling us where you are watching from: London, California, Jamaica, Trinidad, New York, Florida, Atlanta, Nigeria, or South Africa. We truly love hearing from you, and we always pin a special comment from the very first person who shares their thoughts as a way of saying thank you. Looking back, I understood that friendship is a sacred cloth, like a well-tied wrapper. Once torn, it can be sewn again, but the mark remains. She was my best friend until she became my rival, and in that journey, both of us lost something precious. She lost trust, I lost innocence. Yet, from that pain, wisdom was born. In the olden days, women were taught endurance, but life also taught us discernment, to see clearly, to guard the heart without closing it completely. Moral lesson: never trade loyalty for desire, and never believe that betrayal brings lasting joy. True friendship is worth more than wealth, attention, or temporary gain. What you take from another's heart may cost you your own peace in the end. Thank you for listening to this story.